Trojan family, what's up, man? USCJ here. It's the top of the morning. Listen, I hope everybody is getting ready to get up, get out, and make some things happen this morning. Listen, we want to talk about this NIL thing, this NIL deal. And listen, is USC and Lincoln Riley approaching it the right way? And also, where is USC at with their NIL? You guys know, if you guys remember last summer, I brought this quite a bit to you. And I kind of told you guys that, the Boulevard wasn't an NIL. And you guys know that it wasn't an NIL collective. You guys know when Student Body Right came up, I was thrilled. Those guys were some boosters that were coming up because they seen the lack with the NIL. They were coming up to assist the NIL, well, the Boulevard rather, to help them move forward as it relates to compensating USC players like the other collectors are all across. Notre Dame has a 501(c)(3). You guys remember last summer I went through all that stuff. Different one, even SMU have one, and it's getting athletes paid all across the board, which I think they should be compensated because you don't get that much as a student athlete. However, there needs to be some type of regulations because NIL has essentially gone wild, and we now starting to see that with the Jaden Rashada deal. We're going to talk about that and look at exactly what took place with him in Miami and Florida. And coincidentally, now there's another athlete now that once out of supposedly, allegedly, once out of his NIL contract, and he's another Miami recruit. So I'm not sure what's happened allegedly with Miami, why everybody's wanting out of that. And we want to take a look at Jaden Rashada's. But look, is USC and Lincoln Riley approaching it the right way? Student Body Right is no longer here. There was a guy that passed away, and he was trying to create something to compensate for the USC athletes in NIL. However, Boulevard stepped in the middle of that, and Boulevard is no longer around. So there's something else that's coming. It's not fully all the way established yet, but it's in the process of making it happen. And we want to talk about is USC doing it the right way now that we see what's taking place with Jaden Rashada. Let's take a look at what Jaden Rashada was up against and what he was facing. Let's take a look at this. Let's go. Look at this, and this is very detailed as it relates to NIL and how Jaden Rashada was being handled and the contract guidelines that he had to follow. And when we look at this, and we seen that USC, Lincoln Riley made statements. He said, we're not going to outbid anybody. And look, the outbidding that's going on to really have this thing uncovered, allegedly, and these guidelines that Jaden Rashada had to follow. It's kind of, it keeps you speechless, man, because we had no idea that this is what the NIL was doing with incoming freshmen and how they were getting some of these players. And we can't even imagine what other schools are doing without no real regulations on it. But look, this is the guidelines. Jaden Rashada, you guys know he was at Miami. He then went to Florida. Now he's committed and signed with Arizona State out of California. And look, this is what it said. Jaden Rashada, he signed an NIL contract that day. It said it called for a $500,000 upfront payment. After that, his payments would increase from $250,000 a month as a freshman to $291,666.66 a month as a sophomore, to $375,000 a month as a junior, rounded out with a $195,833.33 monthly payment as a senior, so long as he fulfilled the following obligations. Look at this. He got to stay in Gainesville, Florida. At least one branded Twitter post, one branded Instagram post per month, up to 8 fan engagement events per year. These could include in-person appearance, social media engagements, video conferences or interviews, none which last longer than 2 hours. Autograph up to 15 pieces of merchandise per year. I mean, the guy had a bunch of like strict guidelines he had to follow. He wasn't just going to get the money and come to school and play, which, in my opinion, if we look at this adds um, so much more just thought process to go behind like just football because you look at the school aspect of it, and then you look at the quarterback position, you look at the travel, you look at the study hall, different things they had to do. Then they wanted to add more pressure to this young kid with with this contract to basically see a return on their money. So you want to see a return on your money with Instagram, social media, and all this other stuff. But then you want to see a return on your money on the field as well. And so this was part of Jaden Rashada's contract, supposedly, allegedly. And listen, he has now been released from this. So look, my question to you as USC fans, is USC handling the NIL right? We see that we got the transfer portal guys that are coming in, and the transfer portal guys, most of them pretty much have been proven factors, proven guys that been on other teams, able to have success on other teams. Where do you see? Where you guys hit me in the comment section? Tell me, where do you see this thing really going as far as the NIL? Do you guys think the regulations need to be put in place? Because to me, this is kind of crazy when you look at it. Like I said, I've always been an advocate to have guys paid, due to the fact that, look, the NFL's not promised. An injury occurs, anything happens of that nature, I think guys need to be compensated. But to have this type of stress, and then you have the schools that are really just going absolutely crazy, just based on allegedly boosters doing kind of what they want to do and really kind of controlling the game. And look, will everybody get a fair chance if you have a better player that's discovered in the midst of the practices, but because the guy was paid? Now do you have a guy that's really good on the bench, but another guy's playing only because he has to fulfill this NIL aspect of it, man? So look, you guys hit me in the comment section. Tell me what you think. I wanted to deal and address this today, and is Lincoln Riley approaching it the correct way as it relates to NIL? All right, so that is the Jaden Rashada deal right there, man. Is that a lot or what? I mean, look, man, you cannot fault Jaden Rashada. Look, if somebody offers you that much money, you're gonna take the money. And look, he just only did what was contractual from a contract standpoint. He was only doing what was offered to him. And for them to allegedly back out of this, I'm gonna say allegedly, this is everything that was supposed to be presented to him. I guess that's on them, man. So does it appear now that Lincoln Riley is doing this? And you guys know Lincoln Riley said he's not going to be in a bidding war. And then coincidentally, we seen Nick Saban just come up the other day, and apparently an athlete came up to him and said that they wanted certain type of, I think his girlfriend to get in law school or something like that, as a part of their NIL deal at Alabama. But I mean, this thing has gone wild. Players are starting to want all types of things. And you guys know I'm a big advocate of seeing players get paid, because there's not a guarantee that those guys are going to make it to the NFL. However, I do think there needs to be some type of regulations, because at this point, it's just the wild, wild west that's taking place as it relates to NIL. And it appears that Lincoln Riley is approaching this the right way so that it won't come and backfire on him. So as it relates to me, I have a change of thought on it as it relates to that. And here's the question: is Oregon, because you see what happened with Texas, and there are reports allegedly that Oregon is doing the same thing as it relates to NIL as Texas A&M. Is Oregon the new Texas A&M? I've heard people say that, and could that come back to bite them, man? We can keep that up for another discussion, and we can talk about that. Everything is allegedly, nothing's concrete. This is all with information that's surfacing around. So look, let's talk about it another time. Until later on, listen, everybody stay blessed and continue to fight on, fight on, fight on.